Hi, welcome to Undead Yarn. My name is Heidi, and you can find me on Ravelry and Plurk as Knitty Girl, and on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter as Knitty Girl 1. This is episode 29. Oh, I'm getting close to 30. And I think I actually did get the episode number correct today. Good. I didn't write any show notes today. Last week was really busy, and actually this week is going to be very busy too. That's what happens when you have meetings. I've got to try to get all the therapy done and meetings intermixed together, and it makes for a very busy time, especially when I'm also testing. But anyway, y'all don't need to know about that. Let me go ahead and get into works in progress. I don't have any finished objects this week, but I'll show you what I've been working on and what I intended to start, but I haven't started yet. I'm really, really, really happy with these, and so I am actually considering trying this dyeing experiment again. I have to be very careful when I do it. It was very labor intensive to do this, and then when I was trying to undo everything so that I could get two balls of yarn that were the same, it was really, really frustrating. So I wasn't sure if I was going to try to do this again, but I really love the way these are turning out, so I may try to duplicate it, because I think that these are really fun. See, and I'm so happy. I can't believe it. They're like really matching up. I haven't done heels yet. I'm going to do a true afterthought heel. I haven't done one before, but I think I can do it. The thing I don't like about doing the afterthought heel is having to weave the needles back in, but I'm still going to have to do that anyway. So I saw on Instagram, I think You Don't Call Me Les had put 2 needles in, so the stitches were already on needles, and then she cut it, and that seems like that'd probably be the easiest way, and that way you can also be sure that you're picking up the right amount of stitches. So anyway, I'm pretty much almost to the violet on this one, and so I'm going to knit until that one is in the same space, almost to the violet, so that my heels will match too, which will be a lot of fun. Hopefully I can make that work. So I didn't even tell you what this is. They're just plain vanilla socks. I always start with 64, cast on 64 stitches, and then knit rib, and then just stockinette. This is my new BFL base. It's 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon. And like I said before, I really love the way that this is knitting up. I love the way it feels. It reminds me of, like I said, a workhorse yarn, and I'm looking forward to wearing them and finding out. I'm guessing it's going to be pretty much the same as like a Regia or an Opal in the way that it wears. It's not rough, but it's not completely soft. It's not as soft as, the Merinos. But I really am enjoying working with it, and I can't wait to wear them and see how they work out. And then, if y'all follow me on Instagram, you'll probably notice that I wound up a big, huge, massive ball of lace weight yarn. This is from Spunky Eclectic, and I think the colors are showing up pretty good. It's a bunch of different greens with black and a little bit of brown thrown in. On my Instagram picture, some of it looked blue, but it really is not. It doesn't really have any blue. It looks more like this. It's like, they kind of look like camouflage colors. And this is her Soylent. I know it's from a movie. I don't know how to pronounce it. Soylent colorway. And I couldn't find this actually on the website. I mean, on Ravelry, I couldn't find that anybody had put this yarn in yet, and I got it a while ago, so it may be one of the older bases and may just not be in there, but I picked it because it's 1,750 yards, and that Vigeant needs a lot of yardage, so I have put that I've started this on Ravelry, but I was good and didn't put the date because I really haven't cast it on. I just got it started because I kept thinking about it and I kept seeing people finishing it, and so I want to do one too. And I think I also said, I called it bandwagon knitting because I really almost never do the same pattern that everybody else is doing. I think in the past I'm trying to think if there's any that I know of. Oh, the ball band dishcloth, I did that when everybody was doing that. But I don't really do a lot of bandwagon knitting. I don't know why. I just, the patterns don't always appeal to me, so I just don't do them. Anyway, this is going to be my next pattern, my next work in progress. No finished objects this week. Well, I do have a spinning finished object. I did not knit it up, but it's done, it's washed, it's plied. This is the churro that I've been working on for so long. It's a Navajo churro, and it's from a local farm. I think it came out really nice. And it's definitely, you can feel in this skein. It's rough. This is not, it doesn't, like, it's not hurting when I put it on myself, but it's definitely a rougher wool. And I don't believe I'm going to make a garment with this. I think I might pair this with the Wensleydale that I did before and make, depending on how much yardage I have. I was bad and I didn't even count the yardage when I didn't put my little counter on when I wound these up. I should have put the counter on. So I was thinking about making a little rug, like a crochet rug with this and with the Wensleydale. I think that would, the Wensleydale was a lighter brown. I think they'd go well together. But I'm not sure if I have enough yardage to even do that. When I did the spinning, there was a lot of yarn. And actually, I'm still not finished. So if I need more, which I'm guessing for a rug, this to me, this with the Wensleydale, I don't know if this is going to be enough. I'm not going to make a big rug, but it doesn't look like, to me, that that's going to be quite enough. I still have some left, even after filling up a jumbo bobbin. So there's a lot of this in that bump that I bought. So anyway, this is my finished object. And next on my wheel, I'm hoping to fractal spin the Jinx BFL that I bought at SSK. And I'm looking forward to that because that has a lot of color. It's fun to try the natural stuff just to see what it's like, but I am a color person, so I really enjoy when I have colors to knit, to spin, you know. So anyway, my next thing I want to show, well, I'll save that for the end. I did get some new books, and I'm probably not going to really go through them very much because I'm not really big on doing book reviews. Like, it's funny, I think I'd rather review a reading book than review a knitting book. Because to me, the knitting book is like, it is to look at the pretty pictures. And that's why I buy it, because I like the patterns. I don't normally buy a knitting book to read. The only ones, I do have one that's like called Knitting History or something like that, that I would like to read. And I have a couple others that I would read. Oh, I have like the Crochet Mistakes and the Knitting Mistakes books, and I would read those. And I have read, when I first got Charlene Church's, I don't know if it's Charlene Church. I may be saying that because I'm thinking of the singer. But when I bought the Sock Sensation books, I read them too because they give a lot of information, and I got those when I was first starting to knit socks. So basically, I buy pattern books because I like the patterns and the pretty pictures. So I don't think I would be too much on going into too much detail when I show things. I know a lot of people really look stuff over and look at the stylization and all that kind of stuff. I just kind of really, I just want to look at the pictures. So I'll just show you what I got. I got Legendary Knits. I got this at my yarn shop, local yarn shop the other day. This is Legendary Knits 2 by Ann Podolacek, and you can remember, if you remember, I went to a book signing at the Happy U a couple months back for the first one. And there are, as usual, because I really like her stuff, there are some patterns I do want to do. This one I definitely am going to knit at some point. I don't know when, but I will be knitting this one. Let me see if I can find a picture that doesn't really show it doesn't show the directions. It's hard to see. You can't completely see it. It actually doesn't look too bad. There are cables in there, and it's cables and lace. It's a lace weight shawl, and it's a circular, not circular, it's semicircular. It's really pretty. And that one I would like to knit. That one is called the Arachne shawl. And there was another shawl in here that I'd like to knit. Right now, this one, I like this one too. This is the Vera Stole. I like how she uses different textures in there, not just lace weight like yarn overs and things like that. So those are the two that I would most likely knit. There are some other ones in here that I really like, but I'm not sure if I would knit them, just because I am more interested at this point in knitting shawls and socks than anything else. I'm sure I'll knit another sweater at some point, but I feel like I have a million sweaters anyway, and I feel like I can never have enough shawls. You can use don't just have to use them for you don't just have to use them for keeping warm. You can also use them like as a, well, I mean, it's still kind of keeping warm, but as a fashion statement. I like also using them, sometimes you can use them as scarves instead of shawls, because they can be folded up in different ways. So anyway, I also bought this at Half Price Books. This is a Joe Sharp knit book. I had never seen one of these before, and it has a lot of really cute patterns. I'll see if I can find, I'll probably just show you one or two of them, because like I said, I'm really not going to be doing reviews of this stuff. I'm just going to, this is the reason, the number one reason I bought it is that tank. And I don't know if you can see, but it's got, you probably can't, it's got ribbing on the top around the collar area. This is it's ribbed right here, and I really like that look. I think that will pull everything in and help it to stay up better, because sometimes when I knit tank tops, if they're not knit in wool, and a lot of times you might knit them with cotton or something else, this part can start to stretch, and I think the ribbing will help keep it up, and I like that pattern a lot. So I probably would knit that one, and I may at some point knit this too. She's got it wrapped around, but that's a blanket. I'm like, why would, you know, sometimes they do weird things with the models. It's a blanket, or like a big huge shawl. You're not going to walk around, well, maybe some people would, but I don't think you're going to walk around with it around your waist like that. It's just silly. So, you know, oh, and I love this. I don't know if I would take the time to do it, but if I ever was going to knit a robe, I would use this pattern. I like it a lot. It's nice. It's not too hard. It looks pretty simple. It's stockinette, and maybe, I forget, I'm not sure what that pattern, it looks like seed stitch or double moss stitch or something like that. So this had a lot of cute patterns in it, and again, that's why I bought it, because I like the patterns in it. And then this one, I have one more that I wanted to show you that I bought. This is called Warm Weather Knits by Deborah Newton. And I actually just heard an interview with her on Fiber. It's the one with Benjamin Levesey. What is his podcast called? The Fiber Hooligans. I heard an interview with her on Fiber Hooligans, and actually they talked about this book a little bit. This is an older book that she put out. I guess she's putting out another book more recently, and that's why they were talking to her. But I like the shawl. That's one I would knit. And I also like, there was one other one I marked in here, so I'll show you the ones that I marked. And then I like this one, the tank top. And I have found that I wear my tank tops a lot. I made a couple of sweaters, and really the only one that I ended up keeping that I really liked was the Clarelond by Cornelia Tuttle Hamilton. I have made some other sweaters by her, but they're not big sweaters. They're like, you know, I made a little cardigan, and I made it, it's called a vest, but it's really like a little tank top. So I have made a bunch of tank tops, and those I tend to wear a lot more often. I really like my Clarelond, but it's heavy, so I don't wear it all the time here in Texas. I do have some times when I can wear it, but I also, when I'm doing when you're doing big garments, there's a lot of shaping and everything, and a lot of do this at this time and this at this time, and that can get kind of annoying. So I'm sure I will attempt a sweater at another time, but I'm probably more likely to knit a tank top just because there's less of that, and there's also more time to wear it here in Austin, really. As far as the past couple of weeks, I've basically been busy at work. I did go see a movie. My husband and I went to see The Giver, and I really enjoyed that. It's based on a book by Lois Lowry, and I know that I've read some books by her when I was younger, but when I was looking, I tried to look through her list on Goodreads to see which ones I might have read, but I didn't recognize any of the names, so she must just have a massive library of books that she's written. So at some point I want to go back and look, because I think what I'm remembering is that she did children's books. Not this book was The Giver was a young adult book. It's a little series, but I want to say that I read when I was a little kid. I read children's books with her name on it. So I'm going to go back and look. I'm really kind of curious, and to also see like how long she's been writing, because I do remember that name from when I was a kid. That's a while ago. Also, what else have I been doing? I feel like I've mostly been doing work stuff. I did do a little bit of dyeing, and I do have one colorway to show you. I think I put the other one away. I do have a new colorway up in the shop right now, and I'm working on some more. I have Sprite, which is a lace weight. It's a pale yellow, and that's in my lace yarn. And then I have the Kaiju available this time to show you. I did a couple of skeins of self-striping, and you've seen these before. This one is zombified, and it's not even showing up as bright as it is. And then this one is Freddy, for like Freddy Krueger. And this one is Kaiju. This is the one I didn't get to show you guys before. And I think that one's showing up pretty true. It's turquoise and gray stripes. So those are the ones that I've done recently, and then if you want to go and look on the website at the lace yarn, I did do that other new colorway. Oh, and I don't know if I showed Atlantis last time. I might have. I think I showed that last time. That's also in the shop, and I did that on a worsted weight, and I think there's one sport weight up. So that's what I've been doing as far as dyeing. Well, actually, I did do one other colorway, and I did this one for myself. Now, I don't know if y'all are interested in this one, but this, if I did put it in the shop, it would be called Kraken. And it's the neon purple and black, and this is going to be neon purple and black stripes. I made this one for myself because I wanted to do those colors. So if y'all are interested in, you can't really see the neon purple. You'd have to look on my Etsy site to see what it really looks like, because I do have, I think I have one skein of Kraken left. If I don't, it's in the sold out section, and that's the kind of purple that I used in this. So that's also possibly a new colorway coming soon. You can tell I like to have black stripes. Neon and black are fun. I like that. So those are those are my new colorways. And I know there was something else that I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, books I've been reading. I've finished, what was it called? I'm going to look it up. It wasn't A Discovery of Witches. That was the first one. But I finished the second book in that series. I actually just finished it a couple days ago, and it was excellent. It's this time around, it's really about time travel, and they go back to Shakespeare's time, and they stay there for a while to get a lot of information from people back in that time. And I just finished that book. Let's see if I can find it on my Goodreads. It should show up in what I've read. The last one, what was it called? Shadow of Night. And that's the second one in the All Souls trilogy. So now I can go and read the brand new one. Yay! And I also finished The Diviners, which is also another series. I read too many series, and I can't, like, I read a book, and then I read a book in another series, and a book in another series, and then I'm like, okay, which series do I want to go back to? I have too many series going. But I really like The Diviners, and that's by Libba Bray, and I finished that one just a couple days ago. That one I've been listening to on audiobook. And I started some new books. I started reading Fables, and that's a graphic novel series, and it's amazing. If you like Once Upon a Time and shows about fairy tales that have a little dark twist, like Grimm is also has a dark twist. It's really, really good. They the characters are really different. They're not the, you know, flat kind of one-dimensional characters you see in most of the Once Upon a Time books. You know, the ones that start with Once Upon a Time, the fairy tales. They are very different from what you would think their personality would be, so they've taken a lot of liberties with this. But it's really interesting. They have their own land called Fabletown, which is the name of the series, and the Fables had to find a place that was safe for them, and then all the animals that are part of the series, they are forced to live on a farm because they're worried about people seeing talking animals. And actually some of the people who live on the farm are not happy about that, so there's always conflict there. That's very interesting. But I'm on series number 4. I would definitely recommend them. If you are interested in comics or interested in fairy tales, what I do is I just get the whole graphic novels from the library. I don't just read one comic at a time. That to me is frustrating, because that's not enough story. That's like short stories. I don't like short stories because I always feel like you're left like, and that's why I like getting the graphic novels, because I feel like I'm reading like a small book. But those are good, and the illustrations are awesome. And then the other thing I started another young adult series. I just actually got that one out of the library today, and it's a fantasy series. And I'm going to see if I can find, it's called something like Aren't I So Organized Today? Maybe that's it, Incarnation? It's about a world or something. Anyway, I picked it up because it had a lot of, I think it won some awards, and it had a lot of authors that I like, highly recommended it. Actually, it said it was one of the best fantasy series that's been written recently. So those are the things that I'm reading right now. I'm also reading issue 1 of Ply magazine. They reissued it, and so I've been reading that. I tried to read the one that they just put out, the one about plying, like, you know, twist and stuff, but I'm finding it so technical, and there's something about knitting and spinning and stuff. I don't want to get that technical. I guess I feel like I'm very technical in my job now, so when I do these other things, I want to be more on the creative side. I know you can do both, but I don't know how seriously I'm going to read that magazine, because it's a lot of, well, that issue, because it's very, like I said, it's very, very technical. And I kind of like to spin and see what happens. So anyway, that's just me with my spinning. And, you know, I wish I had organized myself better. I'm looking around thinking maybe there's something that I missed, but right now I can't think of it. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well, and continue to post your finished objects in the thread for the Undead, for finished objects for Undead Yarn. Every month, if there's at least one entry, I will be drawing for a $7 or less pattern. And then in October, we have our knit along for a horror knit along coming up. And I did purchase a bag that I will show you when it comes. That's going to be a prize, and then I will definitely throw in a skein of yarn as a prize, probably 2. and I'm thinking we're going to do it for the month of October. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later, and don't forget to get busy knitting or get busy dyeing. Bye.